I'll try and speak clearly.
That's a really interesting question to me, because obviously you played rugby, really into your rugby, but did you find it hard when you go to the BBC where you have to when you start sports journalism, when you have to sort of know about lots of things? Was it quite hard to sort of take that away, or did you just have that interest in rugby?
I'd always had a general interest in sport. I was always a big fan of... I could watch any sport because I like the drama and intensity of sport. I could always find interest in genuinely anything, whether I knew the rules or not. American football, ice hockey, I'd always watch athletics, tennis, rugby, cricket, snooker, any sport that was on TV when I was a kid, I'd just sit and watch and I'd be engrossed. So I found it quite easy, and I think one of the reasons I went to the BBC was a good knowledge of rugby union, but at the same time it was also the fact that I was more than happy to work on smaller sports and different sporting events.
Okay, I mean, actually, what would you say is your favourite most dramatic sporting moment?
Most dramatic sporting moment? Solskjaer, 99.
Solskjaer.
Yeah, I mean...
United supporter?
I do support Manchester United, yeah. And I was, when Sheringham equalised, I'd run around the house screaming my head off, and just got back in time to my seat to see Solskjaer's goal, but I don't think anyone's going to win it in much more dramatic fashion than that. Yeah, it was great.
I can't remember. Yeah. My best United memory is when we lost the title to City in 2012. I just remember being there and just being like,
I'm quite lucky because
you would have been at the BBC.
Yeah, I was at the BBC, and actually I was producing a live football match on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, but the SM, the studio manager that was there to do the sound, was a massive Newcastle fan, and I am a massive Manchester United fan, and so he wanted to watch Newcastle. We only had 2 screens, and I wanted to watch Manchester United. So we didn't have the City game on, and we avoided the score because I'd said City are going to beat QPR 7-1. We don't need to know what the score is. They've already won the league, so you can watch Newcastle and I'll watch Manchester United. And we both missed the moment of Aguero's goal. In fact, I thought Manchester City had already won the league, assuming they were going to beat Queen's Park Rangers comfortably. And so when we came out of the studio, people were all, flabbergasted about what had just happened. And I was like, what happened? And they went, City won 3-2, but it was really dramatic. And I went, well, I knew they were going to win, so that was it. And I didn't have that moment at all. I wasn't watching it at the time, so yeah. In a way, I think that took away lots of the pain because I assumed City were going to win, and the next thing I heard is they won, so that was it.
Well, speaking from personal experience, you are very lucky in that sense. I just thinking about that as well. What sports do you think BBC should give a bit more coverage to? I suppose on the live.
I think we're very good at giving lots of sports a platform. I think the problem that we have is promoting it.
Okay.
I don't see us do the really hard work to promote things like Ski Sunday, triathlon that we do, highlights that we do.
Yep.
I don't really see us promoting some of the smaller events. The bowls just comes on, it just appears. And I guess people that like bowls. I mean, my mum was ringing me. She works as a carer for elderly people, asking me when the bowls was on, and I was just like, I've got no idea, and I work here.
Yeah.
I don't think we do enough we do a lot of those smaller sports, and actually we don't have that much live sport on the BBC, but when we do have it, we need to promote it properly so that people know that it's there and they know that we still care about sport.
Do you think this would be where the main drive through the social media would happen, or would you look to broadcast a bit more now on Facebook, social media?
I don't know, lots of that comes down to rights. People buy rights for sports on different platforms. There might be a person who's paid to have bowls highlights online, so we couldn't put the bowls online, for example. But I think what we should do, social media, there's not going to be a huge bowls pickup if we do it all on social media. So obviously you need to have it tailored, whichever sport you're promoting. But the reality of the situation is a few trails on radio, more trails on TV, saying this is the date, this is the time, this is what you can see, will make a difference,
That's cool. I had a look at your Sports Gazette profile and all the articles on there. I'm really interested. What was your favourite Sports Gazette article to do?
I've got no idea what I wrote about. I don't know. I don't know what I can't. If you can tell me, you might. I don't think I did the depth. of work that everyone else did. In fact, I'm quite pleased I passed. To be completely truthful, it was a difficult time generally in life, because the recession didn't help. Like, working part-time doesn't help. I'm not from a really affluent family where I had sort of loads of financial support, so paid for the travel, paid for the course, paid for as much as I could. And so really, yeah, I was drained. It was a very draining year.
But then you got into Five Live after.
Yeah, I got into Five Live pretty much during the time, actually. I'd already been given the full-time job by the time I officially graduated from the course, which was great. But again, I put a lot of effort into that, because, the reality of the situation was that was a real-world opportunity right in front of me to get a job, which was the reason I'd done this Masters.
Yeah.
So I had to put lots of energy into that. I think the uni completely understood that. I'd be running off to go and do a bit of BBC certain days, because I had to. I felt I had to. I'm sure Darrow would agree that he would have allowed me to do that. He did allow me to do that, but he knew how important it was to me.
Well, I mean, what would be your advice to students in our position?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to send you that advice many times when I say, don't put yourself into a box before you've even gone into the industry and say, I want to be a writer in rugby, or I want to be a broadcaster in football. Okay, if that's your long-term goal, always try and do work and try and do things that lead you on that course, if that's really what you want to do. But equally, don't turn things down. You've got, if we put it to a high level, Jonathan Agnew, huge cricket commentator, doing the archery at the Olympics. He's not going to say no to the opportunity to be at an Olympic Games and commentate on a gold medal. In a way, it could make him a much better commentator as well. So even at the lower level, it's exactly the same. Listen, if I want to be a commentator in football, but someone says, do you want to do St Mary's women's rugby varsity match and commentate on that? Do your research, do your homework, find out who the players are, and do your best commentary job on that. And for all you know, you might say, I love commentating on rugby, and it might lead you down a completely different road. You should always be open to doing the complete breadth of things, particularly at the start of the career, because the more you do, the more experience you have, it's only going to make you a much better candidate in the future to go for what you really want to do.
Brilliant. All right, yeah, I think that'll do it.